But you're really doing it for the publicity. I always tell people, you're traveling, you're going to go do that. Me, honestly, I try to make money. Obviously, now I'm making money when it comes to it. But back then, you want to break even. Like you don't want to go and you don't want to think that you're gonna make $1,000. Like now, it's easier for me to do something like that. Like back then, you're not making $1,000 in a weekend. You break even, get your food, get your stay, get your networking, come back and use that clout to sort of charge people or run it up here now. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what it is.
Definitely. Y'all talk? What you mean y'all talk? Y'all talk fuck? Y'all talk fuck? Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Y'all Talk Podcast, a podcast y'all should be talking about. It's been a little minute since I've been in the studio, but we're back and I'm very happy that I'm here today with my guest. So today's guest is heavily in the music industry themselves, but they've also worked with artists like Hardo, Fed the God, Ugly God, and they've been to multiple cities to just work with music in general. So I'm excited today to pick his brain, give you guys a little bit of insight into the music world, and talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. So if you want to just tell them your name, anything I might have missed, what they should know about you before we dive in.
What's up? My name is Tone. I perform as Turnmeuptone. People know me as Turnmeuptone. I'm an artist, producer, audio engineer, promoter. I do a whole bunch of stuff, I guess, at this point. We'll get into it more and more, but I'm super happy to be here. I've seen your episode with Seiko. Shout out Seiko. And I loved it. I was like, dude, I would love to be on here. So I was psyched when I got that email back.
Yes, I was happy to see it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So shout out to Seiko. So yeah, just how are you in general? We talked a little bit before the cameras started rolling, but
I'm tired. I almost died today. I feel like I'm keeping it chill though. Make sure. I had like an allergic reaction and I was breaking out, so I had to take a Benadryl. But I'm here and I'm feeling good.
What were you doing last night? You said you ate something.
So I went to I was at a bar called Garvey's and we were trying foods for Shorty's Pins and Pints because they're gonna start having our wine from Wines of America over there. So we were trying stuff and like pairing stuff. And I think I just ate like a piece of cheese or something that I just wasn't. I don't know, something stupid like that. But I woke up and I was like, oh my god. And I would take a Benadryl. Now I feel okay though.
Yeah, so let's go. So before I get into the main part of the episode, I like to start with the this or that game. So I ask 3 questions, 2 options. You pick one, and then you explain why. Okay. So the first one is, and we talked about this too, is summer or winter?
I would say winter. I make more money in the winter time, personally. Ooh. I like the winter time because I feel like people are always in the studio. People are like I feel like here you have to be. But then on the flip side of the coin of like just like, the world and how it looks. I love the way like snow looks. I'm originally from Florida. We were talking about that. So I didn't get to see snow until I moved here, like real snow. And I remember the first time, it was like a year before that mega storm happened here. Yeah. I don't know if you remember, there was like all this snow and I thought it was freaking amazing. So I fell in love with it as soon as I got to see that for real.
Yeah, I'm going to pick summer only because I already said I just hate the cold, but festivities wise, winter for sure.
I think most people would pick summer. Summer's popping.
It is. Summer's popping. It is, but a lot be going on, But winter, that's a good answer though. You make more money in the winter. You definitely do. Let me make my answer winter. Okay, I pick winter too. So number 2 is live forever or wake up every day with a new superpower.
Definitely not live forever.
Why not?
I mean, personally, like my mom was born in Bogota, Colombia, so my mom's Colombian. So I was raised very spiritual. I believe you live forever either way. So I think it would be pretty cool to have a different superpower every day. I always talk about that. I think my superpower would be like just making weed anywhere. Like I wish I could just have weed. Like if I could like and then weed
and it just pops up.
That's all I would really care about. Or flying. Flying would be pretty cool.
And what would be like the worst superpower you could get, in your opinion?
Ant-Man. Well, I guess that's not even a superpower. Let me not hate on Ant-Man. That's like a suit, but
I don't even fuck with Ant-Man, so we can.
People love Ant-Man for some reason.
I didn't even watch the movie. I just have no interest.
I don't know. Like, what would be a bad? I guess there's no bad superpowers. I mean, think I guess I'm a nerd a little bit. So like Wolverine, you know that girl in Wolverine that like when you touch somebody they die? That would be pretty bad. I don't know if you've
Yeah,
ever
okay.
watched
Well, yeah, that's
Wolverine.
not even a superpower at that
She's
point.
like in love with this guy and like they can't even touch, but then they end up touching at the end of the movie. It's like
And she kills him?
yeah, it's romantic and
Damn.
dramatic, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Mm-mm. Well, okay, I definitely wouldn't pick Live Forever, just honestly because, like, for what? Honestly,
You could
there's
see
not that much
flip side
shit
of the
to
coin,
do.
you could see some cool ass like technology, but to be honest, after you hit about 200, they're gonna put you in a facility
Yeah.
somewhere. They're gonna
Mhm.
be testing
Somebody's
you.
gonna notice that your ass has been alive for a
You're
long
gonna be,
time.
you
To
know,
be honest.
they're gonna start testing you and shit. You're
Mhm.
gonna end up dying either way. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's my pick too. I'm gonna say superpower as well. So third and last is play it safe where you're comfortable, or take a risk of losing everything for an opportunity.
Take a risk. I'm always take a risk. Like my family, my mom went to school for musical theater,
Mhm.
so like there's arts in my family, and but my dad was always like the play it safe type of dude. But right out of high school, and well, I guess we'll get more into it later. I was already making beats for people. Like I knew I was gonna do music full time when I was 18, and I
Mhm.
still ended up going to college for a semester, and kind of wasting money and regretting it. Because then I ended up just coming out and just doing, after a month coming, I'm not a month, a semester
Mhm.
coming out and like doing my own thing. But I believe you got to bet on yourself, especially if you're younger. Bet on yourself every day of the week. Nobody else is gonna bet on you,
Yeah.
and
True.
don't think anybody else is gonna bet on you. You got to bet on you.
Yeah. That's definitely my answer. I kind of already knew that was gonna be your pick just from like your whole everything, the whole vibe. But that kind of gives perfect leeway into what I wanted to ask because I do want to get into the start of
I don't want to like.
everything.
I'm cheating. I'm looking.
So no, you're fine. It's not cheating. So rewind back to like when you first started making beats and everything. You said you were 16.
So no, I didn't start making. So I was like record. I guess I was making beats when I was 17, but I started when I was 16. Like I was in marching band and stuff,
Mhm.
and then like I know how to read and write music, and I was pretty good at it.
Mhm.
And there was an opportunity that we got to do song like score like songs for the movie Fences.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay. And shout out Miss Sharif from Obama. But me and her, we were like, I was bringing her stuff and we were figuring stuff out on how we were going to get this, like, because it was going to be for a movie.
Right.
And then we would get credit. We got paid. I ended up getting to meet him.
Oh,
And
that's
there's a video
cool.
of me, like, on Facebook of, like, little me.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess you can go look at it, but, like, I'm, like, real chubby. And it's just me and Denzel Washington talking about like drums and like figuring out how we were gonna like do it, and it ended up being in the movie, and the second one was in the credits that we did. We ended up I think submitting like four things,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
we got to record like they recorded us live like we were in like a marching band stuff, but we had like a few different songs we were gonna do, and they ended up picking like what they wanted.
Mhm.
Um, then that gave me that early introduction of like, oh wow, this is like cool. I could really do this and make money. Granted, I got like a check for like $45. Like it was like,
Yeah, but
but
still,
as a
that's a hell
16
of
year
an
old, I'm like, damn,
accomplishment.
like
Yeah.
but I was getting those. I still get those to this day.
Mhm.
So I get them every. It's like we're 7 8 months. It really should be 6, but there's like a delay. And
Mhm.
now it's only like $10, but like slowly, it goes down just because they don't watch the movie as much. But it's pretty cool, to
That
think
is
about.
cool.
So then I'm like, okay, I really want to do this. I didn't really get involved with beat making until I met a guy named Delonte Murphy. Shout
Mhm.
out Delonte, I love you, Delonte. He like had this beat maker thing, and I never even realized because like at this point I'm just drumming. I'm
Mhm.
I played for bands, and I played for like a steel band, like all this shit and doing stuff like that. So I didn't know how to turn that music into like computer
Right.
yet. Um, and then I met Delonte, and he taught
Mhm.
me, and then after that it was just boom, and yeah, I was recording harder like in my basement from like 17 18 to now we're in like ID Labs, and
Mhm.
Fed, shout out Fed, like he's put me on. We have a song on my album, we'll talk about that later, but
Mhm.
he was like that main artist that I seen him, and I was like, well, I'm gonna place my bet on him early on, and
Yeah.
now he's doing his thing.
Mhm. So do you feel like that, just that experience with like the movie Fences, was that like the inspiration that
Yeah,
sparked it,
that
or
was
was
it.
it?
That sparked it. As soon as that happened, that's when I was like, oh, I gotta do music. And then I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I gotta go on stage. So then 11th grade year, which was like this was like a year later, I guess. I
Mm-hmm.
did musical pit, and then after that, my senior year, well, I guess I did musical pit in 10th grade, and then I did like actually on the stage, but it was smaller stuff. And then I had a role in my senior year. I got nominated for a Gene Kelly Award
Mm-hmm.
for my role Sweaty Eddie for Sister Act, and that's when I was like, okay, I love being on stage. I love doing the background. I just love this music shit. And my family was like, oh god damn it, like
Mm-hmm.
because they wanted me to be a doctor. Like I was good at science and math, but I always loved like music. Like you know,
Yeah. So it started with like beats, instruments stuff. When did like
it really
you
started with drumming because if we're gonna go back,
Mhm.
I've been drumming ever since I was moving. My
Okay.
dad's a drummer, so
Mhm.
like I was like that little kid with like a baby drum set playing.
Yeah. So you
You
like
know,
were born into it
yeah, I
basically,
just
music.
they're
Mhm.
like, oh yeah, this kid's gonna drum, like
Yeah.
you make music. So then later on, I just learned different instruments and just
Mhm.
figured out like and yeah, but the real inspiration, because I always loved music, but it was more of like, oh, I love this shit and I'm good at it, but I don't know if I could really do it as like a career.
Mhm.
16, that's when I was like, okay, yeah, I guess it might have been 15, 16 now that I think about it.
Mhm.
I can't even think back.
But that's when you like doubled
But that's
down.
when I was like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
nah, I knew off rip. I was like, I'm gonna go to college, but I'm gonna do music. And
Yeah.
then after a semester, I was like, oh yeah, just fuck this college
Mhm.
shit. I was class president. I went to Chatham University. I was class president. I'm so sorry, everybody at Chatham University. They voted me in as class president. They trusted me, and
Mhm.
then I dipped. This is the thing. I don't regret it. Like I
Right.
hope
You did what's
everybody's
best for
doing
you.
good. I'm friends with them still. You
Right.
know.
It's all good. All cool. So when did that all come at once as like you becoming an artist? Because producing and being an artist, is that two
That's
separate or you
way
just
different.
started? Okay, so when did that come in?
So good question. I always wanted to be an artist. I always was writing my own music. I was writing for people. I write hooks and like write music for people to this day.
Mhm.
But like I always felt like I'm like I don't know where my place is yet. I had to figure it out. I didn't think my timing was there.
All right.
I want to say like 3 years ago, because I'm 24. So when I was like 21,
Mhm.
and like this sort of rock vibe started coming back, and that was really more of my influence
All right.
growing up, like Green Day and stuff. I was like, okay, then like you know what, let me try to start doing some stuff like that. So I was
Mhm.
making like rock pop songs, and it was like going okay, because I knew people, whatever. But then we made the band like a year and a half ago. Shout
Mhm.
out No Sleep for Zombies. Um, and that's what really like amplified like my artistry, I guess you could say, because now
Okay.
we're performing all the time. We're part
Mhm.
of like production companies. We're getting like 1 to 4 shows a month. It didn't start like that, obviously, like a year and a half ago. We had to build it up,
All right.
but they were in other bands, so it helped. And plus, like me, and this is a common topic that I talk about with a lot of people.
Mhm.
It's hard to be a solo artist out here and doing it.
Yeah.
Like having a band is a lot easier. Just
Mhm.
like it's genuinely so much easier. It's especially in the city that's built for bands. Like
Mhm.
there's a production company, Drusky, shout out Drusky Entertainment, but they book for bands. Like you don't really see that in like solo artists or hip hop people.
Yeah.
So, and I knew that because I was in the scene. So I was like, we're going to go this band route because I know we're going to get booked. And evidently that, you know, pushed my own solo music. So it was helping because people would go, we perform, and they're like, oh, he has solo music too,
Right. Mhm. Promotion
So,
everywhere.
but it was a progressive thing. When I started, I was just a beat maker. Like I was
Yeah.
just making beats, and then I was audio engineering people. And then 21, I was like, okay. I remember having a conversation with like band and people, and they're like, I think I want to start making music. You know, yeah, I think
Mhm.
I'm happy I did because now it's really I get to make like my own club house
Yeah.
pop music, and then I get to make rock music,
All
and
right. You get to dabble everywhere technically.
you know.
So just for the people who wouldn't know watching, like, can you just give like the general like the difference of the producer side versus being an artist for people who just might not actually know the
So a
terms?
producer, I guess when it comes to making a song, there's like three roles to it. There's the artist, the producer, the audio engineer.
Mhm.
Now, like if we're making the song and then the beat's already made, like a producer is like one of two things technically. So
Mhm.
like if he's making the beat, he's a producer, but if he's
Okay.
also in the studio helping like move stuff around with the beat and evidently not making the beat but just moving like a DJ Khaled never makes a beat. He
Mhm.
always hires a producer, and then he also produces with the producer
Okay.
as like sort of an overarching thing.
Mhm.
But evidently the producer is the beat maker,
Mhm.
or somebody that's always dealing with the instrumental and beat. The audio engineer is just worried about the vocals. So his idea and his job is to get those vocals sounding as best as he can on that song,
Right.
and then the artist is obviously performing. And to be honest with you, coming from somebody that's kind of doing all three, sometimes it's hard. Like you kind
Yeah.
of have to separate it because it's different minds. It's different. You're a
Mhm.
different mindset. The producer is worried about making sure that beat is mainstream, making sure that beat sounds good into you,
Yeah.
like for your vibe, where the artist is just worried about am I going to make this beat me? They all have their role, but it's all corresponding.
Mhm.
So when I'm making music, sometimes I take a step back and let a producer be a producer when I'm just supposed to be the
Right.
artist.
Yeah. I definitely was gonna ask that. Like, just sometimes it just creep over because if you're a producer and you're making your own music, I feel like that would intertwine easily.
Yeah, when I make a song, I rarely ever just record by myself. I always have one to two other producers in the room with me just because
Mhm.
I have my taste, but it's always good to have other people's taste around,
Right.
especially like in your niche. Like,
Mhm.
like I
For
have,
sure.
EDM people or just pop people that are like, shout out back to Brazil, and like, they'll kind of help me. Dallas too. They'll kind of help me like form these songs, and it's nice to have that vibe
Mhm.
as like a nice studio
Yeah.
room full of people.
It's really like networking, honestly, with
Yeah,
them
it's
people.
networking, it's working. At the end of the day, you need to be comfortable with those people. Like it's nice to have a studio session with like a bunch of people where you're networking, but it's also nice to have it where it's just like this, four people, but we're
Mhm.
all like looking at a song
Right.
like a puzzle.
It's familiar in a way.
Yeah.
Mhm. So, what are some like skills generally you feel like you've obtained or grown with just doing all three of those things?
I mean, regarding like specifics, like audio engineering, I've gotten to climb and become one of the more prominent audio engineers in the city. Shout out everybody else doing their thing as well.
Mhm.
But more importantly, I think I've been I've really learned people skills.
Mm.
Like a lot of the times your people are coming into the studio and like they're there just to vent.
Right.
Either on a song or like literally to you. But
Mhm.
being able to feel people out and make them feel comfortable in a moment of vulnerability when they're making music is
Right.
something that I'm really good at. I
Mhm.
think that's that aspect of that people. That's what really it's been teaching me. And
Yeah.
also networking because I was at Rolling Louds at freaking 18.
Mhm.
I turned after I left college. I went to live in Florida for a year, and I had a manager, Shamari Hearn, and that's how I met Ugly God. That's how I got to do this stuff with him. And you had to grind. You just have to be a force. Like
Right.
you're out there and you're networking with those people. You're out there. You need you want to meet these people in this
Mhm.
environment. You know, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what it taught. It gave me that animal instinct of like, okay, I'm gonna get into a room and try to meet as many people as I can.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
I think I struggle with that even now. Like this, generally, I feel like was a big step for me because I'm very reserved, and I still am though.
I think
Honestly,
most of us are. I mean,
it's just norm. I feel more. I mean, when you're comfortable, you're comfortable, and if I'm comfortable by myself, that's what it is. But it's like I love hearing like stories
people.
and shit. I love learning people's just lives in general, but it's still like uncomfortable at first for me.
Yeah. See, I'm a Gemini, so like I could stay at home and I could be under a blanket and I could be watching Star Wars with my dogs, or I could be at Cabo, fucking loving life. Like
Loving it. Oh, you're a Gemini. I'm a Taurus.
yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm working on it, but
I think it just takes time to. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, so like yeah, like
I
it's
just
also
started
easier when you
forcing myself to
yeah
do it though. That's what, I think it's like a lot of people are different,
yeah
and I try to like ease my vibe a little bit because I don't want to be too overwhelming.
yeah
So I just try to feed off them in a way. That's usually how it feels. But it's not that bad, you know. I'm
yeah.
learning, but that's definitely a good point. I feel like a lot of people sleep on networking.
I really want to start throwing events, networking sort of events with content creators at the Forge.
Yeah,
Like
that'd
once
be
every
smart.
few months, like invite and make it a free event. Invite people, have like buffet style food, whatever, and
Mhm.
let people network. Because I go to these events. I'll go to like the Evas. this fashion designer Eva. We went to her fashion show, and you're networking with people, and
Mhm.
but it's nice when it's a room full of like this is the thing. Most artists, it's a room full of introverts. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's a very few of us that are like sort of that flamboyant in your face type of person. Like, like I'm kind of like that, but I also have that flip side of I can also be reserved as well. So,
Right.
but we're artists, and I think when you get a room full of artists together, that's when artists feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Like not a room full of randoms.
Definitely. So just on the topic of networking generally. So you, like I said in the beginning, like you've worked with a lot of known artists. So like, where did that come about generally? Like just starting out.
Luck, man, luck, luck of the draw. To be honest with you, you know, shout out Felipe. I still need to call Felipe, man. It's been a hectic few months, but when I was working in Florida, there's a guy named Felipe Castano that helped me a lot, and he had friends in the industry. And I think a lot of the times I'm very lucky I meet somebody or I'm related to somebody that have a friend in the industry.
Mhm.
Like in Florida, that's how I got connected to Shamari through him. We went right to his house, and I just played him beats,
Mhm.
and he was having me play beats over and over and over again for him. And then he ended up, signing me for that contract. Um, so I lucked out with that. And then, here, like I said, I met Fed through friends. And this was
Mhm.
back in the day. And I said, oh, this dude's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And I lucked out with that. A lot of this is the right place, right time. You got to put the work in, but it's really right place, right time. Now I'm at the point where I can kind of maneuver and like leverage and be like, hey, I want to work with you. Like,
Mhm.
let's work something out. But in the early points, it was just really grinding, giving a lot of shit away for free and being in the right place,
Right.
right time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you have any tips for somebody who like struggles with networking generally or pushing themselves to network? A lot of people don't think networking is like a important thing, to be
I
honest.
know, and I talk to people about that all the time. It is so important to network. Like, eh, you know, I get it. I have sessions that are very introverted and really don't really want to go out X, Y, and Z. But like I said, if you want to meet people and you want to make music, you got to be out, and you got to be kind of in the scene
Yeah.
and do your
That's with
research. I mean,
anything
if you
too.
like an artist, like look him up, like,
Right.
and see when his next show is. Bring a friend and go to a show. Like the
Right.
worst thing it could be is ass. Like it could
Yeah,
be horrible. Like
honestly. But just why not?
and you
You
probably
have
missed
not
out on
nothing but
ten
time.
dollars or maybe
Mhm.
another $10 on a drink. I get it, money's tight right now, but
Right. But you
if
did it.
at the same time you're gonna go and you're gonna meet five people. What I say too, because like I do marketing now for a living,
Mhm.
for the Forge. You could take $50,
Yeah.
excuse me. You could take $50 and put it in Instagram ads,
Mhm.
right? Or you could take $50, or let's say $30, go get flyers,
Right.
like, and literally go and be in front of somebody's face and try to give somebody a flyer, and maybe get the same 50 followers that you're looking for at a $50 with 30,
Mhm.
and even beyond that, like, say, in terms of networking at networking events, you want to spend $50 on a Google ad, but you don't want to go out. Take $30 from that Google ad, go out and actually have a good night with people, and
Yep.
bring a little business card, which maybe will be $10 out of that $30
Mhm.
budget. Now you got $20 to drink, and if you go and put those around with people and talk to people the right way, you're gonna get 50 followers for
For
$30, and
sure.
those are real followers, and fans. I should say
Mhm.
fans, because they say, with Instagram it sucks and TikTok now it sucks. There's a lot of followers, but who's your fan?
Right.
Who's gonna come and buy a ticket? Like,
Mhm. I think you build better connections when you make that.
oh yeah, when you meet somebody face
Definitely.
to face, I mean, you have a moment. Like at the
For
end of the day,
sure.
now we're connected timeline wise. That's just
Mhm.
how it works.
Definitely. That's a super good point. I think social media definitely blinds that a little bit.
Well, everybody feels like they could just post, and I get it. Don't get me wrong. You have to do that too,
Mhm.
but you also have to like meet people and have a conversation with people. Like people all the
Definitely.
time will meet me and be like, "Dude, I thought you were gonna be like an asshole," and I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, because
"You
you
never met
assume that,
me." You
yeah,
know
off
what I
social
mean?
media,
Like,
right? Definitely. That's definitely hindering.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a good ass point. So, I did want to hop into, because I think this is very important, especially for people who are like bad at taking risks generally. Um, you still travel,
yeah.
right, for music and work and everything. Okay, and you've traveled to a lot of places. So, how did the I don't even want to say opportunity because it might not be an opportunity. When did that first start for you? Like, do you remember when you
Traveling.
first traveled for work?
That's a good question, dude. These are good questions. I don't know. Now let me think about this.
Take your time.
So like the first time I traveled to make money, or like the first time I like traveled just to like go and meet people for work.
Both, honestly. Because both matter. They're both pivotal. Whatever you would define as your first like real collaboration OT.
So obviously the first one I did for royalty wise, but I was already in town, so I don't really count it, was Ugly God because I
Okay.
was already in town then.
Mhm.
Um, but then I lived in uh, Pittsburgh. I came back, and there was an artist, Marley G. Shout out Marley G. I'm about to hit you up too. She was on Love Island, um,
Ooh.
and she's a reggaeton artist. And I came back, and that was like sort of my first. Okay, I'm coming into town specifically for work to make money and to figure this music shit out.
Mhm.
It did not go anywhere as planned as I thought it was going to, because I was not. I don't think I was ready for that yet, to be
Right.
honest.
Mhm.
I did what I needed to, like I did what I needed to, but obviously, like looking back on it, I wish I could do better. Um, but that was like
But you
that
did it.
first time, and
Mhm.
then for my own music, the first time that we actually got to travel was like personally, like for like performing wise, like not like production. We went to New York. We got booked at Brooklyn Music Kitchen, which is this like venue in Brooklyn
Mhm.
for bands and stuff, and we traveled there for about a week and performed there, and we did like vinyl records and stuff there. And that was fun because like that was sort of like, oh yeah, we have like a paid trip, like we actually made some money,
Right. Mhm.
kind of, that's
Right.
that's kind of that's how the world works, like when it comes to like the music world. You
Mhm.
hope to break even, you hope to make money, but you're really doing it for the publicity. I
Right.
always tell people, you're traveling, you're going to go do that. Me, honestly, I try to make money. Obviously, now I'm making money when it comes to it, but back then, you want to break even.
Mhm.
Like you don't want to go and you don't want to think that you're gonna make $1,000. Like
Right.
now, it's easier for me to do something like that. Like
Mhm.
back then, you're not making $1,000 in a weekend.
Right.
Break even, get your food, get your stay, get your networking, come back and use that clout to sort of charge people, or run it up here
Right.
now. You know what I mean? That's kind of like what it is.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, I always was traveling. I'm going back to San Diego. I'll be in San Diego for a week in October.
Mhm.
I'm going to Vietnam in February.
Oh, that's cool.
Um, I live to travel.
Mhm.
I didn't get to travel for a little bit. I'm not gonna get into it because it's past relationship stuff, but we're on good terms.
That's
Um, but now I sort of get to travel, and I really didn't get to travel for a little bit. So now, like this past eight
Mhm.
months, 8 9 months, I've been like fucking.
Going.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, at this point, like you kind of have to.
True.
Like you got to go meet people. Like that's what's been running up my streams. That's what's been running up business.
Yep.
Period. Like you go and you meet new people, and then they show their people, and
And it
it
just,
just
yep,
spreads if you make
cycle.
the right
Mhm.
connections. Now
Definitely.
I'm going to San Diego. I'm gonna have a paid trip, like for that, working there for like 2 3 days, and I'm probably gonna go to the fucking mountains for a couple days, dude. See a jungle cat or
Definitely.
something.
No, for real shit though. So, what are like the hot spots for you right now in general? Do you feel like you're somewhere more often
Like,
in
what do you
other
mean?
places?
Like going places?
Mhm.
My hotspot right now is San Diego and like in LA. I'm not gonna put anything else out there because people know, but like
Mhm.
essentially, like I'm slowly making that shift out there.
That's
I
cool.
produce for a lot of people out there.
Mhm.
I'm a part of a it's like sort of like a management company, 99, that's out there now. So like they've been helping me push a lot of shit. So evidently I want to be able to bounce, honestly split my time, which is
Right.
crazy to say, but
Mhm.
like it's doable.
Yeah.
Like it's
For
doable,
sure.
month here, month here, month here, month here, if the money's there and the money's right. We have a winery over there as well, so I'm sort
Oh,
of
cool.
trying to
Mhm.
tie that in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But definitely the West Coast at this point. I mean, I'm always in Miami too because that's where my family is,
Okay.
but I'm really only focused on the West Coast right now.
For
And
sure.
I go to Miami for holidays. Like I'm gonna go there for Christmas, like
Mhm.
for like Christmas Day, and then I'll have to come back up here.
Yeah.
But
So traveling then versus now, do you feel like you're more comfortable with it? Were you
oh
ever
yeah,
like
dude,
nervous?
traveling back then was ass because I was broke,
Yeah.
dude. Like oh my god. And like granted, like I'm still busting my ass. We all need to
Mhm.
get better. But back then, it was like literally, like, and I'm humble. I can say it. Like
Right.
I'm going. They're paying for my plane ticket, and I have like $40 $50 in my bank account, and I'm going to
Mhm.
Cali for fucking 3 days,
Oh,
and
that's
I'm
what's
like,
up.
You
Yeah,
know,
what
I was
could you
gonna.
ask
I
for at
don't. Is
that
this a
point?
kid show or not? Because I
Yeah.
was about to say something wild, but like
It's
I was gonna say I'm gonna be doing reach arounds on the corner out there, dude. Like real shit. I'm like I got $40 to my name,
yeah.
and thank God the people around me had money. You know, but oh man, it was that
Mhm.
was ass. So now I'm more comfortable because now I like I can buy some Auntie Annie's on the way or some shit.
Right.
Auntie Anne's, it's Auntie Annie's.
Mhm.
You
No,
know,
it's
and
not
like, but I've
Auntie
always
Annie's.
is it Auntie Anne's or Auntie Annie's?
You said it
Okay, I
right.
fuck
There
yeah.
you
So
go.
I guess that's a hot take. I don't know. We gotta look that up.
Yeah, real quick, cause now I gotta know just really quick.
But yeah, and honestly,
Mhm.
I love. But as a kid, I feel blessed. Like
Mhm.
we as a family we traveled sometimes. We didn't fly a lot. We drove places just because it was way more expensive to fucking fly back then,
Yeah.
dude.
I
You
mean,
know.
shit, it's expensive now, but
Kind of. I mean, you could get a Spirit flight to LA for dude. I bought my Spirit flight round trip for like $200.
oh, that's nice.
Granted, I gotta add a suitcase on each,
Right.
so it'll probably like 260, but that's not that bad,
Yeah.
in comparison to what it used to be. It is Spirit though. I'm
Mhm.
ghetto. I go on Spirit.
And say
I'll go to
fuck it.
Southwest certain times if the price is right, but like, dude, I'm just, you
Yeah,
know,
I'm just getting there. Point A, point B.
yeah.
Definitely. So for the people who, because I am going to hop my topic now. For people who might be scared to take that opportunity to travel, words of wisdom. What would you tell yourself when you first started traveling? I'm one of those people. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
Don't
like I
ask me to
said.
travel for fucking work. I'm gonna be scared, nervous. That
Really?
seems big to me. Yeah.
See, and this is the thing though, man. The first time I went out there, I was by myself, just
Mhm.
meeting people I've never met before, and it was awesome, And this last time I went, shout out Becca Brazil. We spoke via Instagram and via phone, and like the first time we met was when I went out there, and it was awesome. We had such a good weekend. I got to meet
Mhm.
all her people, and we met people together, and I introduced her to my people that I had
Right.
out there, and I say it's scary. Like it's
Mhm.
scary, obviously I probably looking back might not have taken a couple of those trips and maybe save some money. So like save your money, take your time and take the trips where it makes sense. Don't just go out there to sit in a hotel room all day.
Mhm.
Go out there and wait for your time and go. But if an opportunity comes, you gotta jump. Like that's what I believe in. Like, you aren't gonna get a lot of opportunities. And if somebody kind of throws something at you and you're like, hey, you know, come perform or come do this or hey, can we collab on this? I've actually come out of pocket a lot of trips just to go out there and put myself in those
Mhm.
instances. Come home, been fucked up, and just grinded it out.
Yep.
Honestly, and it was worth it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It'll come back to you for sure.
definitely. But it's scary to hop in water that you don't see the bottom of.
Right.
But know that you can tread water. There
Mhm.
ain't sharks in the water yet. You
Yeah.
never know.
Right. Mhm. Definitely. But you would never know if you don't
Until you
try.
don't jump
Yeah.
in. I guess that's a bad analogy though, but but that's just the
No,
real.
that's a
That's
good
the
one. If you
world.
get it, you get it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly. All right. So now you have a lot going on. I do want to be able to spend some time on just discussing some recent accomplishments, some stuff you might have going on the side that we didn't get to get in bulk with. So we did talk about a recent drop that you were having at the time that we first
Mhm.
inquired. That has dropped now,
Yep.
obviously, yes. So can you tell them the name, where they can find it, a little bit about it?
So the album is called Voices Tell Lies. I have features from Fed the God, Becca Brazil, Stixo, Wyatt Herb. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody because they're gonna kill me. And No Sleep for Zombies. Um, I also have a Green Day cover that Green Day let me license on there. So I have two Green Day covers out. They let me license She's a Rebel, which if you know Green Day, it's like one of their songs. And I did
Mhm.
a homecoming thing on the album. And honestly, it's just about going through heartbreak and figuring out the different stages of grief and understanding that like we're humans and you're able
Right.
to feel certain things.
Mhm.
It's out on all platforms. Definitely take a listen. It starts like house pop, and then it kind of transitions into this rock. My band's on it a lot. A lot of like live vibes while there is like in the beginning like that more pop like modern feel.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, dude, honestly, it was the first solo EP I've dropped since Lose My Mind back in like 2020.
Mm.
Because then I've been focusing on the band,
All
and
right.
I felt like I needed to get some music out to like say some stuff. And honestly, it's been reciprocated crazy. I'm almost at 30K in the first month,
Oh, that's
and
cool. Mhm.
it's like all radio shit, and like people are really supporting it,
Yeah.
because you can see in Spotify like where the streams are coming from, and people have
Mhm.
just been reposting it, and the love has just been super cool.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna drop another EP in November because I'm going out to San Diego, like I said, next month. We're gonna finish it at either Kush Factory or Home Run Studios out there in
Mhm.
Hollywood, and get that shit out, because that this album was kind of for me to just put it out there, get myself back out there,
Right.
and let people know, okay, I'm doing my thing. But now I want to drop this other EP, and I'm gonna be performing at like a couple EDM music festivals. Like when I'm performing solo, it's EDM pop, which
Mhm.
really there's not a lot of stuff here like that,
Yeah.
which
I
kind of
was definitely
sucks.
gonna ask, like, what's the vibe of the music?
Nothing
Mhm.
here, like
Yeah.
it's not is there's no well I'm collabing, I'm bringing a couple like big DJs from New York. We're gonna throw like a college night EDM
Mhm.
party, and then I'll do a set and like mix my music in, because that's kind of like the vibe, you know. But I really, when I perform on No Sleep for Zombies, and most of
Mhm.
the album we perform as well. Obviously not the pop shit,
Right.
but yeah. So definitely check it out. It's cool. The cover's blue. You'll see it as soon as you search up Turnmeuptone,
Mhm.
and let me know what you think.
Yes. Do you have anything in the works like right now? Stuff people should be looking forward to, other than like you said, November.
Um, I was about to say some shot. I was gonna say I'm gonna have a baby in December. I'm just kidding. Um, No, I'm gonna shoot a music video to Beating Like a Drum. So when we go out to San Diego, me and Beck are gonna shoot that music video for Beating Like a Drum. That's gonna be awesome. And then we're gonna shoot the video with Fed on the way back.
Mhm.
So we'll have two music videos coming, and then we have a No Sleep for Zombies album coming too. That's gonna be fun. I don't know if we're gonna get it out before the new year. We'll probably drop two singles
Mhm.
and drop it January 1st, because we dropped our last album January 1st. But really be on the lookout for those music videos. We're putting money into it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Do you like creatively direct your own, or do you just basically team
Honestly,
based?
I guess it just depends, because I
Mhm.
have in the past. Like honestly, my brain has been fried recently, so I have
Yeah.
ideas. So I'm kind of giving these videos off and seeing kind of what who Andy Q is.
Mm.
I really want to work with Andy Q. I didn't even hit you up yet, Andy's, but I'm gonna hit you up. I want to work with him. He's super cool, and I could tell he has a vision. So I'm gonna kind of give him my idea and like let him go with it.
Mhm.
Um, but I want to get part of my freaking set animated, like
Mm.
that, like it's set
Mhm.
video animated. Like I want to get. I know an animator, but animation is expensive as
As
fuck.
hell.
Like
Yeah.
expensive as shit. Like it's like $500 to $1,000 a minute.
Yeah. That's a tedious ass job. That's why.
Yeah, and he's good. But imagine if a video started like here, and then evidently like went into like
Yeah.
animation, but
Mhm.
not in a tacky way. Not in a tacky way, because we're not trying to do like you know
Yeah.
nothing too stupid. You know what I mean? We
No,
gotta
I
keep
get
it
it though.
cool.
No, that's cool though.
Yeah.
That's exciting though. So you got a nice end of the year coming,
Oh
basically.
yeah. I think I'm fourth quarter pressure all the way.
Yeah.
Summer, I don't know what it is. Every time summer happens, I take too many shrooms, smoke too much weed. Like
Mhm.
I get my shit done, but like music related, we're just performing so much.
Yeah. It's
So I don't
laid
really
back.
get to
Summer's a lot more laid back. That's what I was saying. Like I'm in the house working when it's cold. I feel like that gives it more of
see.
the
We're
vibe.
just performing, so my summers aren't too laid back. That's what sucks. Like my fall ends up being a little laid back in terms
Mhm.
of performances, because it's for bands. It's freaking festival season.
Mhm.
Like at Dutchtown, there's like festival after festival. So we're playing every week. And that gets draining to write music. Like you don't really write music when you're performing so
Right.
much. I was talking to Seiko about that actually. Like when you're constantly doing shit, it's kind of hard to like detach and then write,
Mhm.
because you're like, oh my God, like I have to get X, Y, and Z done. But
Right.
I'm
You
sitting here
can't even
writing
really
this.
zen.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot on your mind. The last thing I did want to touch on, which I told you to pause in the beginning, the winery. Like
Okay.
I need a little bit more of the details.
Okay.
Cause I'm trying to see. I want to go to a wine tasting or some type of wine event.
Oh, we could do.
I really
I'll
love
schedule a
wine.
private tasting. You guys can come, and we could do like a little TikTok. Like we could do
Yeah, like
content there.
seriously, cause I really love wine.
Oh, so um, I guess it's kind of crazy recently. Like I've been really shifted into like a big role for the Forge.
Mhm.
I kind of should just start early on. Like I have a company called Spring Alternative, which
Okay.
is like a music booking company. It's like a booking agency. now I guess we're getting into marketing and like stuff for businesses as well. Um, we started that 3 years ago, and honestly, we started it because we couldn't find shows. I was a solo artist. We were already solo artists, and we couldn't find shows. So we were like, we're gonna like book our own shows. So we're gonna go and find a venue like Club Cafe, and we're gonna book it. You know, because it's weird, right? It's all how you dress something. So
Right.
like we would hit them up, from like our personal emails. This is back in the day, and we weren't really that reputable at the time. Hey, like we want to throw a show. We're no sleep for zombies, whatever. Or back then, oh, just Tone, and they'd be like, oh, whatever. But now when you're like, hey, this is Tone from Spring Alternative, and we're trying to book a show for April 9th. These are our artists. This is our timeline. Let me know the budget. They're like, okay, boom. So we kind of made it to where it was easy for these venues to just say, okay, bet, boom,
Right.
done. We would look on their calendar. We would say, oh, that Saturday's open, fucking 4 months in advance.
Yep.
Dress it, send it to them, and all they could say was bet, boom.
Mhm.
And we slowly were getting into these venues and building up. And the Forge was one of them. The Forge was just one venue we would throw a show at every few months. Then we threw our Fall Slam Music Festival, which shout out everybody else at Spring Alternative because they really helped put that shit together. It was a day-long music festival that we threw. And after that, they were like, hey, we want you to like sort of come into this more booking-wise. So I would do one show a month there, then 2 shows, 3 shows, 4 shows, and then they were like, hey, can you do it all? So now I'm in charge of our whole schedule. So if I want to be open on Monday for a tour date, we'll schedule it and we'll do it. Shout out Stephanie because she, they look at my ideas and they honestly trust me because we've built such a relationship.
That's the
So
best
mainly
workplace.
we're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Live events are Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Sunday and Thursdays are usually like our free events. Sunday's like a jazz chill day, and then Thursday's like a open stage type of vibe. Like people can come and like really just if you're a musician and you can't get booked here yet, come to our open stage, and we kind of like watch for people and try to throw openers for them.
Look, that's an opportunity right there.
So and now after I've been doing that full time for them for like 6-7 months, recently I've been kind of shifting into this brand ambassador role. So now I'm just trying to sell and get the wine to as many people as I can. Restaurants, businesses, even places other than Pittsburgh. So we're trying to do a Marriott deal where like the Marriotts will have our wine, and it's really opening my mind up to other business. Because my whole life I've been music, which I love music, and I think what I'm good at is business though, because I figured out the music business, and how to maneuver that. So now I'm in business, and it's kind of like I'm around these other promoters, and it kind of just happened naturally. So now I want to in 2024. We're going to be taking on more venues. People are asking if we're going to do management stuff. I don't think we're going to do management stuff just because it's hard to manage artists. Like, let's just keep it simply like that. It's hard to manage artists, but we want to help manage businesses and get social medias out there. And, because like, for example, when I started with the Forge's Instagram about 3.5, 4 months ago, we were at 300 followers. Now we're at like 810.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's the proof is in the pudding, as people would say. So we want to help people get to that next level, and we're gonna make it to where we can kind of build each other. So that's kind of what my role is now at the Forge. I book every show there, and we try to do private events, and it's a blessing. Follow the Forge Urban Winery. Next month we have like drink specials, so we're doing like $4 shots of tequila. We have like well shots. We're trying to go crazy for October. We also have Wi-Fi's funeral coming. I don't know if you're familiar with Wi-Fi's funeral. He's like, when you get a chance, look him up. He kind of like got popping like with the XXX Tentacion type of people, but he's coming, and we already sold like 130 tickets or something like that for that. So that's gonna be a big event. And we're gonna have like little Halloween drinks and such. But
that's cool. Yeah, I gotta definitely come past.
You're coming, dude. What we'll do is I'm gonna set up a time like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. You guys can come. We'll get like a charcuterie board. You guys can try the wine because we need people to do like reviews. So like we're actually doing this. I'm glad that you're bringing this up because you guys would be perfect. It's like an app that you put the wine in. And like we want to be on the app. We want to be ranked, I guess, on the app. So come. Get drunk.
Literally.
Uber there because you're probably gonna have to Uber back. Our wine is strong, like very strong, but it's good.
Yeah. Y'all heard that. Y'all stop past 2. So I do have to cut it here because I'm running very close on timing. You have to come back one of these days though, because I have a lot more questions. But before I officially end the episode, I like to ask the guests, what is one thing you feel like people should talk more about?
I guess not to keep it vague and whatever, but I think people should just talk more. Like, I think there's like a weird thing that it is now where like somebody will, be at a bar and like you're sitting there and you're kind of just like,
right.
Just say what's up, like break the ice, start talking because you never know who you're going to run into. Like I am the type of person that if I'm on an airplane, I'm sitting next to somebody, we're talking until I fall asleep or until, but we're talking, we're networking, and I've met so many people that I've made money off of.
Yeah.
To keep it simple, I've made more money off of meeting random people than I have trying to make friends with friends. So if you see somebody, you don't know who the fuck they are,
right?
Just say what's up, and just talk. It doesn't have to be about anything in specific, just talk. For sure. So.
Definitely. Oh, that was a word right there. Okay, well, I want to thank you for coming.
Dude,
I really do appreciate it. It was really nice to meet you.
Yes, dude.
You are insightful.
I met you before, but I didn't get to meet you guys, so.
Yes, so that was great.
It was fun.
I do appreciate you coming. I'm going to leave all your socials in the description of this video. But if you want to just shout them out one more time, any affiliation shout-outs that you want to make before we actually close it off, now's your time.
Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, all that fun stuff at Turnmeuptone. My name is Tone. You can also follow our band, No Sleep for Zombies, in the Forge Urban Winery. You'll probably see me there mostly every night. So it was awesome being here, and likewise, it was cool meeting you.
Yes, thank you. And I want to thank you guys for tuning into the podcast. I will catch y'all on the next episode.
Y'all talk? What you mean y'all talk? Y'all talk talking? Y'all talk talking?